Hello there, Tolkien fanatics. Welcome back to another MESBG video. Today I will be covering the shoot phase of a turn. So last time I did a video on the movement phase and exactly what goes on. And movement involved jumping, leaping, climbing, charging models, going prone, moving through difficult terrain, control zones, and stuff of that nature. Pretty much just went through the whole movement phase and just talked about how you move, who can move, and other things that can happen during the move. So today I'm going to be talking about the shoot phase, and I feel like this should be a pretty quick video. I was looking through the chapter, and for the most part, a lot of it is self-explanatory, but I do want to go through it. That way new players can get a good grasp of what happens. So the shoot phase. So there's really six steps to the shoot phase. It's how to shoot, check your line of sight to your intended target, work out the number of models or obstacles that are in the way, roll to hit, make any in-the-way rolls, roll to ruin, and remove casualties. So pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do, all right? So let's move through it. All right. Checking line of sight to your intended target. So, actually, you know what? Let's start with something even better. Who can shoot? That's the best question. So, models have their fight value and their shoot value and the same characteristics. If you watched another video I did on understanding a profile, I explained under the F section, which is fight value of a profile, you're going to have one number, a slash, then a second number with a plus. The second number with a plus is your shoot value. So if it's a 4 plus, that means you hit on a 4 or better. If it's a 3 plus, you hit on a 3 or better. If it's a 2 plus, and yes, there is a model out there that hits on a 2 plus, then you hit on a 2 or better. All right? So a lot of times evil models will hit on a 4 or higher. There are a few evil models out there that hit on 3s. I'm trying to think of what's the guy's name. They used to be really good. Then they got nerfed in this new edition. I can't think of them, but they're part of the Serpent Horde. And they used to have 2 attacks and a 3-up bow. They were ridiculously powerful. I think they might have been strength 4 under the old edition. No, I think they're still strength 3. But they were ridiculously cheap. And for what they could do, they could really devastate you. I had to go against them several times. And let's just say, more than several. And let's just say they were not very fun to play against. Watchers of Karna, that's it. Watchers of Karna have 2-up, or not 2-up, I apologize, 3-up shoot value. So getting back to a task, who can shoot? Well, now you know how to shoot. You look at your profile. That tells you what you can shoot on, okay? Who can shoot, though, is the real question. So a model aimed with a missile weapon can make a shooting attack during the shoot phase. Some examples of this are crossbows, regular bows, dwarf bow, elf bow, whips. Whips are actually a shooting weapon. They're a throwing weapon. Throwing weapons are also included in that, and those are throwing daggers, throwing spears, and I want to say, no, that's it. Those are the only two. Throwing daggers and throwing spears, and then of course you also have whips, which count as a throwing weapon. So you could put the 3 of those under there. So every different missile weapon has a different strength value associated to its characteristics. So bows, there's more than just bow. There's dwarf bow, there's elf bow, there's great bow, there's orc bow, there's what's the other one? Dwarven long bow or something like that. There's a new one, I think, Esgaroth bow for Dale. I don't know why I can't remember that because I like Dale. So every one of them has a range and a strength value to them. So that's important to know. If you don't know what your throwing weapon's strength is, look it up in the book. It is in the book. There's a small chart under the shoot phase section, and I believe there's a large chart in the weapons and war gear section. But I will be covering weapons and war gear in the future, so have no fear. So that's basically it. Who can shoot? Anybody that has a weapon. A third of your army, base rule is a third of your army is allowed to have bows. There are some armies out there that allow greater than that. One of the 50% or greater armies is Serpent Horde. They are allowed to have 50% or better bows. Another army is a Legendary Legion, and that is... Actually, no, that's not true. The Legendary Legion... So a lot of people think... This is a perfect example. So for new players, you're kind of get lost. I apologize for those out there. Legendary Legion, everyone's sitting here thinking, Ithilien Rangers, it's 100% bow. Well, actually, no, it's not. they don't count towards the bow limit. So if something doesn't count towards your bow limit, it's not a quote-unquote 100% bow limit. So, yeah, guys, read the rules. It says it's right there. If they don't count towards the bow limit, they therefore don't count towards your limit. Let's see, who else? I'm trying to think. There's another army out there that can take 50% bows, and I can't think of who it is right now. And it's driving me crazy because I'm pretty sure I played it at one point. Yeah, I can't think of it. All I can think of right now is the Serpent Horde. I know the Serpent Horde can take 50% bows. So, anyway, base value is usually about a third of your bows. I'm sorry, a third of your models can have bows. Wow. I shouldn't be doing these after work. That being said, 1 out of every 3 models can have a bow. And now throwing daggers, for example, count as a missile weapon, but they do not count towards your bow limit. So that is important because there are some armies out there that their models, I'm looking at Corsairs and Umbar and Riders of Rohan, although they don't have to pay for it though, can have pretty much all their models with some sort of throwing weapon. And that's really awesome because throwing weapons actually have a point higher in strength. They're strength 3. The common bow, the bow you're going to see out there the most, Rohan, Gondor, Arnor. I'm trying to think who else. Basically any man faction, other than a few. Survivors of Lake Town itself. Those are strength 2 bows with a range of 24 inches, okay? So an elf bow is a 24-inch ranged weapon with a strength of 3. A great bow is something that Bard can take. I don't know if there's another model that can take it, but I know Bard can, and it's a strength 4, which is crazy. And then a crossbow is strength 4 as well. And like I said, there's a whole bunch more, but we're not going to go into them right now. So now we've determined who can shoot, all right? Picking a target, that's the most important. Who is your individual model going to shoot? All right, you pick who you're going to shoot at. Line of sight. Does your individual model have line of sight to your opponent's individual model that you're trying to shoot? Now, if you can see your opponent's model completely, then there's no in the way test. You're good. You don't have to worry about it. If it is partly obscured by something, you are going to have an in the way test, and we'll get to that in a second, okay? If it is completely obscured to your range from one model to that, from your model that can shoot to the other model, like for example, yes, we know it's a 3D board and we're playing it on a gigantic scale from our point of view. You can see your enemy's model around the building hiding. However, if you get a bird's eye view, not a bird's eye view, I'm sorry, a model's eye view, we have a bird's eye view. If you get a model's eye view, which is you have to kneel down, and I know people like me with cranky knees, getting down on our knees can really stink. But if you go down and look from the viewpoint of your model, can your model see it? So even though you can see it from a bird's eye view looking over the table, can your model see it? If you cannot see your opponent's model that you want to shoot, you therefore cannot shoot at it. You don't have line of sight. Easy as that. It also has to do with charging, by the way. I didn't mention it in movement, but you have to have line of sight to charge. So you can't just run around a building and charge a guy. That's not how it works. That being said, that's line of sight, picking your target. Next up, measuring your range. That's where the little chart comes in. Are you in range? All right. Like I said, most bows are, bows. That's exactly what it's called, a bow. And it's got a 24-inch range. If your bow is something different, make sure you're looking at your war gear profile and seeing what type of bow. If it just says bow, I'm telling you right now, it's a 24-inch range with a strength 2 hit. All right. If it's something different, look it up. Figure out what your strength is and what your range is. Okay. So moving and shooting. If you decide to move and shoot, you can do that. In the old edition, what was it? I think there was something. I'm trying to remember back. When I first started playing, you used to be able to move, take a negative penalty, and then shoot. And I think for a while was if you moved at all, you couldn't shoot. But it got changed. I want to say not in The Hobbit, but another one. The edition before that. Okay, so moving and shooting. If you move half your movement, you can still shoot. If you move more than half your movement, you're not allowed to shoot. Okay? If you move half your movement and shoot, you take a -1 modifier. So if you have a 3-up shoot value, it now becomes a 4-up. If you have a 2-up, it becomes a 3-up. A 4 up becomes a 5 up. A 5 up becomes a straight 6. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, not too hard to understand there. All right. If you got a 6-inch moving model, which is most models, you can move 3 inches and still shoot. All right. Pretty easy to do. Rolling to hit, I don't even really need to go over that. Roll it. Are you a 4 up shoot value? Did you get a 4 up? Cool, you hit. Okay. In the way, determining in the way. This is important. So you determine how many in the ways you had when you were choosing your model that you wanted to shoot at. That's why I said you have to look from each individual model that you were shooting towards each individual model of your opponent. Now I'll get to the question y'all are having in a second. Trust me. Determine the number of in the ways. Okay. If there's an in the way, the order of operations: roll to hit. Do you hit? Great. First in the way. All right. So there are actually levels of in the way, and people sometimes forget this. So there's a chart for this as well. So flimsy fences, bushes, crops, and long grass are 3 up. So did you hit? Yes, I got my 4+. First in the way. It's tall grass. It's a wheat field. All right. It comes up knee high, or chest high. Not chest high. I'm sorry. Gosh, I can't think of the darn name. Waist high. There we go. I'm sitting here looking at my own waist. Waist high. It's a 3 up. Roll a dice. 1 or 2, it gets caught in the grass. 3 and above, it moves on. Okay. Next, was there something else in the way? Walls, rocks, tree trunks, sturdy fences, intervening models, and elevated positions. Okay. 4+. So that's a 50-50. All right. He's partly obscured by a tree. All right. Roll your dice. Got a 5. All right. Keeps on going. You shot past the tall grass, past the tree. What's next? All right. Third thing. Purpose-built fortifications, large rock outcrops, windows, and doorways. 5+. All right, so you've shot past the grass, you've shot past the tree. Oh, and by the way, he's standing behind a barricade. 5+. Roll your dice. You got a 5. Congratulations. You made it past 3 in the ways. So those are in the ways. Flimsy fences, bushes, crops, and long grass. 3+ to get past. Walls, rocks, tree trunks, sturdy fence, intervening models, and elevated positions. 4+. Okay, intervening models, if you're good, by the way, you cannot shoot through a good model, just like you cannot shoot into combat. All right? Evil, you can shoot through your own model. You just have a 50% chance of hitting them. You can shoot into combat as well. You have a 50% chance of hitting that combat then. All right? Made it through the grass, made it through the tree, made it through the, barricade. Congratulations, you hit your target. All right. So let's see. You've hit your target. What's important now? Roll the wound. See if you wound him. He's got a defensive 6. You have a strength 2 bow. You need a 6 to wound. Roll your dice. You rolled a 1. Congratulations. You made it through all that and you rolled a 1. Hey, that's me, by the way. I'm not saying that to be a smart ass. I'm saying because that's how it goes. Yep. Got past the in the way. Got past the in the way. Got past the in the way. I rolled a 1 to wound. So that's it, guys. That's shooting. So here's the one thing you guys are probably thinking about. What if I have 6 shots and I want to shoot at the same guy? In the ways, you have to take the perspective from each individual model to the individual shot. That's completely acceptable. If you got 6 archers in a line and you all want to shoot at Aragorn mounted on his horse, by all means shoot at Aragorn. But if Aragorn is covered by 3 guys, then you're going to have to... Excuse me, pulled my mic out for a second. So if Aragorn is not covered by 3 guys, is 3 of your guys have obstruction to line of sight to Aragorn, then congratulations, you're going to have to roll in the way, and you're going to have to determine based off of the chart that I just talked about what the in the way roll is going to be. Okay? That being said, you cannot take 6 guys and just roll and shoot at your opponent's 6 guys and say, yeah, I'm just going to roll right to left. So I'll roll these 6 dice, and if I get multiple wounds, we'll just move right to left. That is illegal, and it drives me up the wall when I see people doing that. That is not how this works. Each individual model picks an individual target. If you want every single model to shoot at one target, that is completely acceptable. You cannot just say, hey, I'm going to shoot my 6 guys into your 6 guys. Oh, I got 3 wounds. Just take the 3 right guys. No. You need to specifically say who each model is shooting at. Does that mean you can roll each one individually? Yes. Am I going to call you, slow playing and being a bit of a jerk for taking your time if you decide to do one at a time? Maybe not, as long as you do it well. Because I can say that it is actually sometimes beneficial to, the way I will do it is if I'm facing those same 6 guys and I got my 6 shots, first 2 on the first guy on the right. All right, I killed him. Second 2 on the second guy on the right. All right, the new first guy. All right, I killed him. Last shots on the guy on the left. Oh, hey, I didn't kill him. It does matter because control zones matter. This game it revolves around control zones when it comes to charging. So if all 6 of your guys stand up and take one shot at everybody in front of you and every other guy gets knocked out, well, congratulations. You can't just walk between those guys because they're still control zones. So if you just wipe out 3 guys off the flank, you've effectively removed a 3-inch control zone area. That's not acceptable. If you want to shoot at multiple guys at the same target, you can do so. If you want to take a chunk of your guys and shoot at your opponent's chunk of guys and try and do as many wounds as possible, you need to roll each one individually. You can't just say, all right, I throw my 6 in, we'll go from there, moving from right to left. There's some people that are fine with that. All right? Determine who your opponent are, determine if you're playing friendly, whatever. I will tell you now that is not how it works. It is not the way it's supposed to be done. And as a TO, I will rule against it, and I have called people out at events for doing it that way. That is not how it says to do it in the book. That's not how you should do it. If you're going to play the game correctly. All right? So, a little bit of a soapbox there. A little bit of me being an asshole. But at the end of the day, that's how it works, and that's how we should respect that and play it that way. So that's shooting. Pretty easy to understand. Pretty straightforward. All right? Check your line of sight. Figure out your in-the-ways. Roll to hit. Make your in-the-way rolls if there are. Roll to ruin. And remove your opponent's casualties as such. So there you go. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, pretty easy. Here I am thinking this would be a quick video, and it's not. All right, so another thing I want to talk about real quick as well that's important is when you move your models and shoot, so you've got a 6-inch moving model, he moves half his, make sure you mark that he moved halfway. That way, if you do, like I said, it's in the book. It's called Taking Shots Together. So I'm not trying to make this up when I'm talking about, oh, you can't just go right to left if I get as many wounds as I want. It is in the book about taking shots, and it specifically says that if multiple models want to shoot at the same model, they may do that. Okay? So if you do that, though, and you've got models in that chunk that moved, you need to remember which one that moved and either roll different colored dice delineating that or roll them on separate parts of the board for all that matters. Because if you are taking multiple guys and shooting at the same guy at once, okay, you can't say, I'm going to take these 5 guys and I'm going to shoot at that one guy, and then, oh, hey, I got, these guys, they moved first. They moved, so I'm going to roll them first, and if I fail to hit, I'll just roll the next one. Well, even if you roll those 2 guys that moved and you get their hits and they get the kill, the other 2 or 3 guys, or however many guys that you have committed to shooting at that guy, they've shot because all shots happen at the same time, okay? That's why you have to delineate. That's why you can't say, I'm going to take all 5 and throw it like this. It's smart to try and delineate it out. That's why I usually do 2 or 3 shots. When I'm doing crossbows, usually I'll have a little quartet of crossbows. 2 shots here, 2 shots there. Sometimes I'll have them grouped up in groups of 6. All right, 3 shots here, 3 shots there. Just picking your targets. Don't slow play it. Just pick your targets. Pick them right. Make your shots. I will say shooting is a cool part of the game because if you can get some really great shots out there, you can completely flip a game in your favor. Or it can do the opposite and it can ruin your day. I will say I've had many a game that has been ruined for me by lucky shooting from my opponent. 3 or 4 in the ways, taking a big hero off his horse. Nothing worse than having that happen. So, all right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching and following along. If you have any suggestions, please leave them below as always. And I will see you in my next Token Fanatic video. Take care.